Hi, this is Mike Regan with TransAct's 2-minute warning for the week of April 27th. And in this week's 2-minute warning, we're taking a look at what shippers should expect to see in the LTL markets for the remainder of 2026. Last week, TransAct hosted an outstanding webcast with our friends from CSCMP and the NITL about scenario planning and how you build a resilient supply chain. Now, we got a lot of very, very positive comments. I encourage you to go to transact.com or simply click on the link in this email and you can listen to it. Very important that you understand some of the key issues at stake. Now, when it comes to scenario planning, people said, Mike, we're not sure where to begin, but it would be great if we understood what we should expect to see for the next 6 to 9 months. With that thought in mind, last week we dove into what's happening in the truckload market. What we see for the remainder of 2026 is that the market's tightening. The freight recession that began in late 2022 appears in fact to be ending, which is why we see contract rates and spot rates going higher for the remainder of 2026. How much higher? Anybody's guess, but 6 to 9, 10% increases are not unreasonable, and that's before looking at what's going on with fuel. Now, the LTL markets are a bit different. You know, oftentimes shippers say, well, there's a correlation between truckload and LTL. If LTL rates are going up, truckload rates are going up. If truckload rates are going down, LTL rates are going down. But that correlation isn't necessarily accurate, and that's because the LTL carriers operate a business that's different than their truckload carriers. Yes, they're moving freight on trucks, but the LTL carriers have a fixed cost aspect in their networks. They run in defined lanes. Where they want to run their trucks is incredibly important. And that's why when you go to market, your strategy for LTL carriers has to be different than what the strategy is for truckload carriers. Now, this isn't just, idle speculation. As sourcing experts, we've done billions of dollars worth of negotiations in the LTL and truckload. And that's why understanding your data is critically important in awarding business to carriers that actually want your freight more than other carriers may want your freight. The second thing we encourage shippers to do is before you go to market, get with your incumbent carriers and understand some of the metrics included in their operating ratio. How profitable is your business? Is in fact not profitable? What's driving those issues? If you're working collaboratively with your carriers, they will give you that information. But the third and most important thing that you need to understand is some of the subtle differences. An LTL truck, if it goes out at 27 to 28,000 pounds, it's considered full versus 42,000 for a truckload. If an LTL truck goes out at 19 to 21,000, it's unprofitable, and that's why the issue of density in LTL pricing is so important. Now, here at TransAct, we've got a lot of tips so that if you're thinking, well, my LTL costs are going up because of truckload, that isn't necessarily the case. In fact, we've proven through recent events that you can in fact lower your LTL rates by working more collaboratively and effectively with your carriers. Now, if you're interested in learning what that process looks like, send me an email, give us a call, because with each and every 2-minute warning, we're here to remind you we're on your team, here to help. Passionate about seeing you be successful. Thanks for your time.